The rain had stopped, but the smell of wet soil still floated through the small village streets. The evening sky was gray, and the wind carried a strange silence with it. Inside a tiny old house near the edge of the village, Meera sat alone beside the window, staring outside with tired eyes. The room was quiet. Too quiet. Not long ago, this same house used to feel alive. There was laughter, conversations, dreams, and hope. But now only silence lived there. Meera slowly looked at her reflection in the cracked mirror hanging on the wall. She barely recognized herself anymore. The girl who once smiled at everyone. The girl who trusted people with all her heart. The girl who sacrificed everything for her family had disappeared somewhere. And in her place stood a woman who looked exhausted from life itself. But this is not a story about sadness. This is the story of the moment a woman finally understood her worth. The moment self-respect changed her entire life. The girl who always said yes, Meera, had always been known as the good girl. If someone needed help, she was there. If someone insulted her, she stayed quiet. If someone asked for money, time, or sacrifice, she gave it without question. People praised her kindness, but secretly, they used it too. Her mother often said, "Meera, a woman's duty is to keep everyone happy." And Meera believed it, so she spent her whole life trying to make others comfortable, even if it destroyed her own peace. When her younger brother wanted to study in the city, Meera gave him all her savings. When her father fell sick, she worked day and night stitching clothes to pay hospital bills. When relatives visited, she served them with a smile while hiding her own exhaustion. Nobody asked how she felt. Nobody noticed her tears. And slowly, Meera herself forgot that her feelings mattered too. Love that became pain. At the age of 24, Meera married Arjun. In the beginning, everything felt beautiful. Arjun spoke softly. He promised her happiness. He told her, "You are the most important person in my life." For the first time, Meera thought maybe someone would finally love her the way she loved others. But promises are easy. Reality is different. After marriage, things slowly changed. Arjun stopped listening to her. His words became cold. Sometimes he ignored her for days. Sometimes he insulted her in front of others. But every time Meera tried to express her pain, he said, "You think too much." So she stayed silent. Again, because silence had become her habit. She cooked, cleaned, sacrificed, adjusted, and forgave. Again and again. She believed if she loved enough, one day things would improve. But some people don't value love. They only value what they fear losing. And Arjun had never feared losing Meera, because she was always there, always available, always forgiving, always sacrificing. The breaking point. One night changed everything. It was late evening. Heavy rain poured outside while Meera waited for Arjun to return home. The food had gone cold. The clock showed midnight. Then finally, the door opened. Arjun walked inside, laughing while talking on his phone. He didn't even look at her. Meera quietly asked, "Should I heat the food?" Arjun looked irritated. "I already ate outside." Her heart sank. She had waited 6 hours, hungry, worried, alone, and he didn't care at all. But what hurt her most came next. Arjun casually said, "By the way, my friends are coming tomorrow. Make something good, and wear that red sari. Don't embarrass me looking tired all the time." Something inside Meera cracked, not because of one sentence, but because of years of disrespect hidden inside it. That night she sat awake till morning, and for the first time in her life, she asked herself a question. What about me? Not her husband, not her family, not society, not expectations. Her. What about her happiness, her dignity, her peace? And suddenly she realized something terrifying. She had spent her whole life begging for love while abandoning herself. the most important realization. The next morning, Meera looked at herself in the mirror again. But this time, something felt different. She noticed the dark circles under her eyes, the tired face, the sadness she had hidden for years. And slowly, tears rolled down her cheeks. Not tears of weakness, tears of realization. She whispered, "I deserve better." Those 3 words changed everything, because self-respect begins the moment a person realizes they are not meant to live like a servant in their own life. Meera finally understood. Kindness does not mean allowing disrespect. Love does not mean destroying yourself. Sacrifice does not mean losing your identity. And being a good person does not mean tolerating bad treatment. For years, she had confused patience with weakness. Now she could finally see the truth. The first no. The next day, Arjun's friends came home. As always, Meera cooked everything perfectly. But this time, she did not force a fake smile. During dinner, one of Arjun's friends joked, "Arjun bhai, your wife is so quiet. Does she ever speak?" Everyone laughed. Normally, Meera would smile politely, but this time she calmly replied, "People stop speaking when nobody listens." The room went silent. Arjun looked shocked. Later that night, he became angry. "What was that behavior?" Meera looked directly into his eyes and said, "For years I respected you, but respect should go both ways." Arjun laughed mockingly. "Oh, now you have become brave." Meera didn't cry. She didn't beg. She simply said, "No, I'm just tired of disrespect." That was the first time in years she stood up for herself, and strangely, it felt peaceful. People hate boundaries. Something unexpected happened after Meera started changing. People became uncomfortable. Her relatives whispered, "She has changed." Her neighbors said, "She has become arrogant." Even her own family told her, "A woman should adjust." But the truth is, people often dislike boundaries because boundaries stop access. The same people who loved Meera's kindness became angry when she stopped tolerating disrespect, when she stopped saying yes to everything, when she finally started valuing herself. But for the first time in her life, Meera didn't feel guilty, because deep inside she knew. Choosing self-respect is not selfish, it is necessary. Learning to be alone. One of the hardest parts of self-respect is loneliness, because when you stop pleasing everyone, many people leave, and that's exactly what happened to Meera. Some relatives stopped calling, friends disappeared, even Arjun became distant. At first, the silence hurt her deeply, but slowly, she began discovering something beautiful. Peace. For the first time in years, she started spending time with herself. She began reading books. She started waking up early to watch the sunrise. She stitched clothes not because she was forced to, but because she enjoyed creating things. Little by little, Meera started rebuilding herself, and every day she became stronger, not louder, not rude, just stronger. The woman in the mirror. Months passed. One morning, Meera wore a simple sari and stood before the mirror. This time she smiled, not because life had become perfect, but because she had finally stopped abandoning herself. The mirror reflected a different woman now, a woman with dignity, a woman with calmness, a woman who no longer begged for attention. She had learned something powerful. People treat you according to what you allow. And the moment you stop tolerating disrespect, everything changes. Chapter 9. Arjun notices the change. Arjun had noticed it too. Meera no longer chased him. She no longer cried for his attention. She no longer waited all night for him. And suddenly, the woman he once ignored seemed valuable. One evening, Arjun quietly asked, "Why have you changed so much?" Meera calmly replied, "I stopped losing myself trying to keep others happy." For the first time, Arjun had no answer, because deep down he knew she was right. People often realize someone's worth only after that person stops begging to be valued. Respect feels different than love. One day, Meera visited her parents. Her mother noticed the confidence in her eyes. "You seem different," she said. Meera smiled softly. "I finally learned to respect myself." Her mother became silent, because in generations of women before Meera, self-respect had often been mistaken for rebellion. Women were taught to sacrifice endlessly, to stay silent, to tolerate everything. But Meera had discovered a truth many people never learn. A person who has no self-respect can never truly feel peace. Because without self-respect, love becomes slavery, kindness becomes weakness, and relationships become emotional prisons. The turning point. One afternoon, Arjun came home angry after an argument at work. As usual, he tried to release his frustration on Meera. But this time she calmly said, "If you want peace in this house, speak respectfully." Arjun shouted louder, but Meera did not break. She simply walked away. That moment shocked him more than any argument, because control works only when fear exists. And Meera was no longer afraid. Not afraid of loneliness, not afraid of rejection, not afraid of losing people who never truly valued her. That confidence changed the entire energy of the house. Slowly, even Arjun began speaking more carefully. Because people may ignore kindness, but they respect boundaries. Healing is slow. Healing did not happen overnight. Some days Meera still cried. Some nights old memories returned. Sometimes guilt whispered, "Maybe you are becoming selfish." But every time those thoughts appeared, she reminded herself, self-respect is not selfishness. It is self-protection. She learned to forgive herself for the years she spent accepting less than she deserved. And slowly, the wounds inside her heart began healing. Helping other women. As time passed, women in the village started noticing Meera's transformation. One neighbor quietly asked her, "How did you become so strong?" Meera smiled. "I stopped asking people to value me and started valuing myself." Those words spread from one woman to another, and slowly, Meera became someone others looked up to. Not because she was perfect, but because she had the courage to change. She encouraged women to learn skills, earn money, and speak respectfully, but confidently. For the first time, Meera realized her pain had a purpose. Sometimes the people who suffer the most become the reason others heal. A different kind of happiness. Years later, Meera's life looked completely different. The house still stood near the same road. The village still looked the same. But Meera had changed. And when a person changes internally, the whole world feels different. She no longer chased approval. She no longer feared disappointing others. She no longer apologized for existing. And, strangely, that confidence attracted genuine respect from people around her. Because confidence without arrogance has power. One evening, while watching the sunset, Meera realized something important. Real happiness begins the day you stop abandoning yourself for others. Final message. Many people spend their entire lives trying to be loved, trying to be accepted, trying to make everyone happy. But they forget one thing. If you lose yourself in the process, nothing else matters. Self-respect changes everything. It changes the way people treat you. It changes the way you see yourself. It changes the choices you make. And most importantly, it changes the peace inside your heart. Because the moment you finally realize your worth, you stop begging for love that should come naturally. You stop tolerating disrespect just to avoid loneliness. You stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. And that is the moment your real life begins. Just like Meera's did. The woman who once lived for everyone else finally learned to live for herself.